Live from the infamous Conroy's Tavern, I'm Jeremy Taylor, and welcome to this week's Wednesday Night Undress, recorded live in front of a live audience that's more naked than a nudist colony. The podcast that reaches into the wobbly paces other podcasts daren't venture. Yes, we don't claim to look at things scientifically, but we definitely have all the answers to your mysteries, vegetable, animal and mineral. We know the kings and queens of England and questions most political. In short, we can explain matters mathematical, physical and medical. We are, as I said, in short, the only naked podcast that you can undress to on a Wednesday while wallowing in your bath. And let me introduce tonight's naked panel. Dylan's with us, Mandy, Evo, Alena's back, hi. Kathleen's here, hi. And Mr. Lewis is here. And on the knobs is Mr. Neil. And our first question tonight has come in, are vitamins a scam? Yes.
Well, first off, they're vitamins in this country, so that's different. Yes. Vitamins may be a scam, but vitamins may be something entirely different.
The bread in the morning.
That's Vegemite, mate.
Vegemite. So your introduction is basically at this point just salad of like random words. It doesn't have to make any sense. Minerals, you just absolutely random shit. You know.
So is that you done, Evo?
Yes or no?
It's kind of like vitamins.
But you see, you come from a European background, so you should say vitamins. But you've been in America long enough that they've changed your.
We say vitamins. We say vitamins.
You do, yeah.
And it comes from vita, which is the correct pronunciation.
Which is the Greek.
The goddess of vitamins.
Yeah, and when the goddess of vitamins, Vita.
God, she was a horny old thing. She, let me tell you.
I think Freya was bad.
Yeah. She used to walk around in a. Anyway, so what can I say?
Yeah, she's from south of Greece, from Walgrenium, I think.
Wow.
But we went to a freaking Kraftwerk concert with Lewis and Alena. And Lewis, I've never seen him more puzzled. Maybe during the introduction, the Jeremy introduction. But we were there with Bobby and Lewis and Alena. And Bobby was going crazy. It's Kraftwerk, you know. Kraftwerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the robots. And Alena, though, the one song that she remembered was the freaking Vitamin song. Vitamin, A, B, C, aspirin. The entire song was just
a list of vitamins.
Just a list of vitamins. The entire song was a list of vitamins. And the musicians from Kraftwerk, they basically tried really hard to not move at all during the show. They were just like freaking statues. And then the very last song was We Are the Robots, where it got dark in the concert hall, and then when the lights came out, they were gone. The musicians were gone, and there were 4 robots on the
most
keyboard.
Animated part of the entire show.
The robots moved about 1,000 times more than the actual musicians, and played more instruments, I think.
So Kraftwerk is like instrumental in the development of hip hop. Like you cannot listen to hip hop, especially 80s and 90s hip hop, without like being intimately familiar with all these Kraftwerk songs.
It's all beats.
Yeah. But there's a reason. So like the reason that the hip hop artists use Kraftwerk is because they would go raid the record shops for the cheap ass records.
Okay, that.
And
Compliment and yet at the same time.
The concert, they didn't even have instruments. They had like keyboards, like a computer keyboard.
Right.
And they were just pushing.
But whatever you can sample right without having to pay
royalties or whatever. Yeah. And so like
but they did it before everybody else did, you know, and
okay, but are vitamins a scam?
No, they are. Well, not according to Kraftwerk. Kraftwerk loved vitamins.
Okay.
And, do you have you've heard of Witch Magazine, haven't you? Do you have
Of what?
Witch Magazine? Do you have Witch
We're a monthly
Magazine?
subscriber.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's been so much about this, vitamins and everything else, and you find them in all the, Costco magazines
their
and the
consumer
Hy-Vee
reports.
and everything else. And this big consumer report operation called Witch did a survey, and they came to the conclusion that you would have to eat a bucket of a particular vitamin every day for it to have any effect on you. That was what their research said. And I don't know. I'm just saying.
Even like a supplement, like if I take a vitamin D supplement, that's
I don't
not
know.
effective.
I take a whole. The doctor says you need to take this and that and everything else, and his nurse says, "Did he tell you to take that?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Good luck with that." and she was right.
Or like B12. I feel like I'm buzzing every time I take a B12, but maybe I'm
I
not.
don't know.
Maybe I feel like a lot of energy.
That 5-hour energy
Yeah.
B12. Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
There's maybe a little container up above your dad's medicine cabinet. Don't touch those.
Yeah, you
Just
don't want
don't
that.
touch those.
Are they filled with blue pills? Is that what's going on?
Vitamins. I take occasionally a multivitamin that supposedly has all of them. The gummies, I love them. And I don't know if it does anything. I don't feel any difference,
Yeah, see, I am firmly of the opinion that the multivitamins are ultimately a scam.
A scam.
Yeah, because like when people are talking about vitamins, that's kind of what they're talking about, like sort of macroscopically, like everybody takes their one a day or their Flintstones chewable or whatever. And yeah, like that makes sense that like there is maybe not enough bioavailability in the chemicals there to make a difference. But me, like I'm African American, that means we have like traditionally, systemically, I'm not sure what you want to describe it as, lowered vitamin D levels overall, like unhealthy vitamin D levels. And that's just like typical across the board. Like, it's just that way.
Yeah.
I've been taking vitamin D for like the last 2.5 years, and all of a sudden, like my vitamin D levels are like right where they're supposed to be. Maybe it's because there was a change in my diet at the same time, but I don't really eat healthier food. I just eat less. So,
But the thing is, Lewis, I'm a great believer in stress. That stress causes an awful lot of issues in the body, whether it's
as a black person, I've not dealt with stress, so I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying,
Yeah. No,
and there's a lot of this stuff. People say, "Oh, I take all this, that, the other," and I got bad complexion. My mother's answer to that with, "Go for a swim in the sea, dear."
No, but I'm the opposite. Like, I am healthier since I have started taking the vitamins. Now, the vitamins were part of a overall thrust towards being healthier. Calm down, Jeremy. But I am confident that, like, while I don't think a multivitamin helps, I think that the vitamin D, and there are actually a couple other, like, specific vitamins that I know that I had a deficiency in prior to taking them that, like I said, my levels are normal now. So if it's a case of, like, in my head at least, increasing the amount of, say, for instance, vitamin C that you have in your system, yeah, that's probably something that you can, that is plentiful enough in our society that you can get just from eating broccoli or oranges or whatever.
Oh God, no.
Or eggs.
You said the B word.
So he's anti-egg and anti-broccoli. How do you?
Anti-hard-boiled egg, but anti-broccoli in most any form.
Holy shit!
Look, at the end of the day, whatever you may have thought about President Bush, he was the freaking president. And he made it clear to the broccoli growers of America that under no circumstances was he going to eat broccoli. And as he said, I am the leader of the free world and I have the Secret Service, and I'm very sorry, but I am not going to eat broccoli. That's the end of this
Incorporate this
conversation.
into your introduction. so perfect. Oh my God.
Mandy, Mandy, let's have someone say something sensible about.
Oh, yeah, come on,
broccoli
sensible.
or-
How sensible be. But okay, so I got really into vitamins. I had the pill case, 8 different things, and then I found out it depends on your absorption, right? So like you can only absorb so much. You have to take it with other vitamins. So if you don't really know the chemistry behind it, there's not a whole lot of impact, right? Like I was anemic for a long time, was pounding the Flintstone vitamins, was like, they're delicious. They're like, but you also have to take that with vitamin D in order to absorb it into your body. So I'm like, if you don't know that stuff, you're just popping the pills and then you're like, everything's great. And the other problem with that is then you think everything's great and you stop taking care of yourself.
Everything
where
else.
you're like, check, did my part, took the pills. But I think like you talk about, Lou, when you get that mindset, other things start to kind of come into play, like drinking more water, getting better sleep. Maybe the vitamins are effective or maybe it's just your mindset is more effective. But I do think that chemistry plays a role.
You know what? One that I really think is a scam. Others, I'm not so sure. You can take them, and it depends on your absorption, as you said, or all sorts of things. I feel the effect on some of the ones I take, but who knows? But one I'm sure is a scam is the memory aid crap. Oh yeah. I am not. No, well, just
too.
I heard that pun.
just the television commercials that say, "Oh, I've been taking it for 3 years and I'm so much better." What was my name again?
That's good.
I think that's just a placebo, and they're scamming older people.
Yeah, that's possible. You know, I have lots of vitamin deficiencies because I haven't eaten meat in like 30-something years. And I basically eat French fries and chocolate. I don't know why I'm still alive. You know, so I do need to
Sounds
take
good to me.
vitamins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do take like multivitamin. That's about it. But I'm convinced I'm deficient on like multiple vitamins. Our producer and audio engineer is an encyclopedia about vitamins and supplements. Neil, he needs to chime in because he knows so much about the topic.
Not true.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
No.
You
He
will
doesn't
find-
want to get involved, but he does know a lot.
Is it Valtrex? Is it vitamin B?
Different thing.
Valtrex?
That's a sort of leotard, isn't it, or something? like that?
No.
Dylan, Dylan, what is?
Oh my god. I got such a visual of that. Okay.
My wife said something that I'm going to have to ask her about later. Dylan, what's your view on?
Well, Lord Taylor,
We don't use titles in America.
I tend to treat vitamins a lot like I would say Catholics treat confession. Physiologically, it does nothing for me at all. But psychologically, yeah, it makes me feel more comfortable about skipping that jog for the last 13 years.
Yeah,
Drinking that bottle of whiskey last night, running out in the front yard naked.
just one vitamin C takes care of that. Yeah.
It makes me feel better about the
Yeah.
things that I did do.
Yeah.
So, whether or not they work or not, I'm pro-vitamin.
What if you take multivitamin at church? Where you go at church
Are you taking
in the
that with
confession?
the holy water?
I'm hopefully it'll stop some of the burning when I walk in there.
Alena, do you feel that you have the urge to run out of the house naked when you've taken vitamins?
It depends on the vitamin and where I got it from. If it's in a baggie,
I hear
like just
B12
a
is
tiny
very
little
uplifting.
Yeah, B12 doesn't quite do that, but if it's E, yeah. Yeah, vitamin E.
I'll write that down. Good to know.
There's vitamin LSD. I'm not sure about that one.
More letters,
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Have you got anything that you'd like to add seriously about vitamins? I think you're sort of someone who might know about these things.
I take vitamin D because when I got my metabolic panel, they said I was deficient.
Yeah.
And I take vitamin B12 for the same reason because I don't eat meat, so I don't have B12 in anything I eat.
The reason I was asking is because I don't know whether you know this, but your hair's gone a bit purple, and I was wondering if that's got anything.
That's from the vitamin D.
Is it? Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
want
the
to.
doctor says it's normal. It's like a rogue thing.
right.
X-Men.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've known you a
Rogue has
long
the same
time, and I
problem.
felt I could say something, that because it's a bit. All right. Well,
was it vitamin?
so my next question that came in is, what is the worst pet? Spiders, snakes, or mice?
That's pest.
Pet?
Pest.
Pest.
You say pest, I say pet.
Of course you do.
They mean different things.
Tomato, you
Well,
say
all right,
tomato.
whatever you like then. Pest. Spiders, snakes, or mice? I mean, it seems to me such a stupid question that I can't. It's obviously snakes.
you gotta admit that worse than all three of those combined are humans.
So yeah.
So if they ever decided to really get rid of us, they probably could.
This is the beginning of Kath's career as a super villain.
Villain.
See, I was going to say,
Ah.
why wasn't Tucker Carlson included in the pests? But then on the opposite end, I was like, well, there'd be a lack of diversity in the answer.
There
so
you
it's not
go.
really makes
So,
for
yeah.
good radio. As far as the three
Spiders,
offered,
etc.
I think they all get a bad rap, honestly, and I think that all creatures are beautiful, and I don't want to hurt any of them. But I would like to spend the least amount of time in my life with spiders. If we don't ever talk again, I'm completely fine with that.
Sorry, I'm watching Mandy's face.
I'm sorry, I have to admit, you are lying because he is trying to kill these things all the time, and I'm like, no,
I
let's
said
take them
I want to spend the
outside.
least amount of time with them.
Yes, but they're not all beautiful. You literally try to kill like 8 bugs just today. You were like, I was like, no, set them free.
But mice are basically long, cute bunnies.
Yeah, save them, save them.
There's
Shit
one
and,
in our garage
that
right
shit
now.
and pee everywhere.
Why didn't you
Well, so do I, but she doesn't throw
flies
me
in
out.
this?
No, but you do it in one place and
That's
clean
a
up
good
after yourself.
As much
point.
as you know.
I think flies might have been worse, but I think that the three cause you to have to do some serious calculus. What would be most helpful to be completely out of your life?
Sharks.
That's not on the list.
Snakes
I
are
know.
fine. Snakes get rid of lots of pests. Snakes are good.
They are.
Mice, except that they do, as we know, run the universe, are pretty useless.
Mhm.
Spiders take care of a lot of bugs too, except for the occasional poisonous one. They're all poisonous, but the ones that are actually a danger to humans, which aren't that many of them.
Yeah. What
So-
do we have in
Brown
Canada?
recluse.
Brown
Brown
recluse is
recluse
probably
is
the
the
worst,
most
the most
dangerous.
common. And there's black widows as well.
But we don't have those here.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought we did
but
not.
they're not lethal, are they? For two
To
humans.
a kid, little kid, yeah.
To a little kid.
Depends on how big your body is.
The brown recluse can cause
We got
some
the-
nasty
we got-
gangrene,
Uh-huh.
and
Swelling, weird
nasty
And
stuff.
they will hide in the house and come out and
Yeah.
eat you at night. So,
Yeah.
Evo, what's your opinion? Spiders, snakes, mice.
I don't have arachnophobia. I am not worried about
she does
spiders.
now.
Yeah, but squirrels are not exactly mice, are they? They're
close enough.
rodents. Yeah, I hate squitches, but I've had a long history with squirrels. That's a long story. I don't want to get into it.
And Alena
Mice.
actually loves the squirrels. It was really funny how she and you these squirrels used to climb into her bed and cuddle
Yeah, I
up.
loved
And
It was
great.
that
It was awesome.
great.
We had a
Terrific.
squirrel infestation in the attic,
Yes.
like maybe 50,
I
maybe.
ran out of the house when that happened.
Yeah, she had squirrels in her bed, like cuddling with her. It was a
Not.
baby. It was a cute baby
I didn't
squirrel.
like it.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was weird.
Is it funny? I
So,
didn't
I'm
like
sorry,
it.
you don't have to go through the whole story.
Yeah.
But please share with our new panel mates what you would do with the squirrels every day.
Oh, I had so many strategies.
Is this even legal? What you're
Well, the first thing we did was we hired a professional who I believe was some kind of sociopath. He came in and set up some traps, and the kids were like 3. Like Alena was like 4 years old, and he set up a trap on hanging from the soffits, and we woke up and there was a squirrel hanging upside down, dripping blood with a nail driven through the skull of the squirrel.
Yeah. It's
And
probably
we
a
were basically
phase.
like freaking out, looking like Adam's Family house, and Alena walks in, looks like There's like a bloody squirrel hanging down, upside down, and
So that's why she
And so-
decided to cuddle baby squirrels.
and the guy was charging us like $40 a squirrel, and per squirrel, and there could be thousands of squirrels in the neighborhood. You know, he can be a millionaire. You know, so we said no, thank you. Got rid of him. Then I started trapping the squirrels. Oh, first I tried pumping heavy metal rock in the attic. I put up a speaker, and I started playing AC/DC.
Did they dance?
They didn't care. Yeah, they were probably rocking out. You know, bobbing
And
their
your
heads.
neighbor
Like,
left.
they had probably a squirrel mosh pit, you know, and enjoying the whole thing. And then that failed. I got one of those stupid ass fake owls. This is a fucking waste of money. You know, the plastic owls that bob their heads. What the fuck? They were laughing. The squirrels were laughing at me, you know. And then I finally started trapping them. And I would trap a squirrel, and I would go in the morning on the roof, and there would be a squirrel in the trap because they can't resist peanut butter. You put like a little cracker with peanut butter, they go right in the trap.
This is how I learned I was a squirrel.
Yeah. So I would climb up. I would get dressed for work. I would climb up on the roof. I get the squirrel. I put it in the car. I drive 20 miles out of town because they have a very powerful internal navigation. They'll come back to their home. They perceive this as their home. So I'll drive them 20 miles out, go past DeSoto, and there was a place where I repopulated an entire area with squirrels. I would release the squirrel there. Then I would go back to work in Lawrence, and then I'll set up the trap again in the morning. And that way, and then, you know, I realized, you know, those fuckers, it was never ending. It was hundreds of squirrels I've trapped.
I believe it was the same squirrel that just went on a 20-mile
It's
ride
possible,
today.
yeah. I started actually,
squirrels on the planet at this point.
at some point, Jamie said that, so I started spraying them with spray paint
Okay.
to mark them, you know, tag them. And, you know, I feel like, I was like, at some point, I rented out a cat. And I put it in the. It was a big cat. I put it in the attic, and they disappeared. And the squirrels disappeared. They were scared of the cat. The cat was freaking them out. But then I developed an allergy to the cat. I had to get rid of it. And then at some point I was thinking, God damn it, I'm fucking entertaining these squirrels. I'm getting them, playing them like music. I drive them. I give them rides in the car, in a nice warm car. Play music on the way. I feed them peanut butter and crackers, luxury food,
so good.
and I get them pussy at the end. You know. And man, we had to repair the entire roof. It was like Swiss cheese. The roof was Swiss cheese, and
And the walnuts.
and yeah, we have walnut trees around, and we had to replace the entire roof. The workers were petrified. As they opened the roof, they said a fountain of squirrels burst out in their faces. Like a they were freaking out. So, considering the squirrels are rodents, I probably wouldn't like the mice. Although mice are pretty much like me. They just cower in the basement all day and eat cheese. That's what I do.
But squirrels don't. We have a mouse issue at home at the moment, and the trouble is that they pee and they poop, and they do it as they move along. Squirrels
They
don't.
ate the plastic handle of my paring knife
What?
from the utilities drawer, you know,
Yeah.
the utensils drawer.
They spread disease too.
They're
you
horrible
know.
freaking
So
things.
you gotta get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Alena,
Get a snake.
do you have any views on spiders, snakes, or mice?
Yeah, just not. I would prefer none of them. Yeah.
All the above.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't think
I
want
know-
any of them.
Choice.
I know as
Yeah.
humans we sort of tend to think we're in charge of everything, but there are certain other life forms on our planet
Right. I
that
wouldn't
we could
wanna-
do without.
And Jeremy, for you, I am betting that it's snakes. You got it circled. Because he comes from a place where he's not used to seeing snakes. And
Are you
neither
in the
are
city
his
anymore?
boys.
I've
Well, they
seen
just
one
don't-
snake in
Yeah.
the wild in 45 years.
What?
Yeah.
Even here?
Not
Oh,
here.
no, here,
No.
several.
Even
No.
while living here, you've seen.
No,
like,
no. Before I
Before
came
you came
here.
here.
Yeah.
He and his 3 boys, okay, all teenagers, went out to the shed, and one of them came in panic to get me because there was a snake, a black snake, behind. It was an ordinary rat snake, and it was scared of them, and it was behind a set of shelves, and they wanted me to get it out of there. I mean, really? Oh dear, they will not live that down.
They said to
They
me
won't.
once, they said, "Oh, Dad, we're going out somewhere." So okay, fine. And I go out to the car, and my eldest son, or Kathleen, I can't remember which, said, "Have you seen that snake?" I go, "What?
The one that James ran over with the
Have
mower.
you seen that
Right.
snake?" And I said, "What?" And they go, "That snake." I go, "What snake? What are you talking about?" And he points down, and there's a freaking blanking snake at my feet. And so us
It wasn't
Brits,
going anywhere.
we don't sort of do very much, but every now and then, if you kick one of our dogs or hurt the Queen, we go straight upwards. We don't walk or run. We just go straight upwards. You know, it was very, very strange. What does Dylan think about snakes, spiders, and mice?
Dylan was first.
Well done, Dylan. Yeah.
Still not pro spiders.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking. And Lewis.
I'm going to join my esteemed colleague, Mr. Dillon, and say that spiders can go right to hell. I was not afraid of spiders, and then I saw the movie Arachnophobia.
Oh, that was horrible, wasn't it? It was bad. Yeah.
And, like, I'm watching these little puppet-looking spiders, like, they're obviously fake. They could not have those spiders look less real if they tried. Still creep the shit out of me. And to this day, if I see a spider, I kill a spider. Yeah. So even though I know mice...
You know the picture of the spiders coming out of the people's mouths and nose is fake. It's still horrible.
Yes,
I feel like spiders are better to have because there's nothing emotional about getting rid of spiders. In some way, like I feel like when my cat kills a mouse and the mouse is in the apartment, there's like an emotional feeling when I dispose of it that I don't have when I see a dead spider. Like it feels weird.
Yeah. I agree.
I stepped on something I didn't mean to step on the other day. I was walking out of a building and there was a little pond on one side and I saw a little tiny lizard at the side. And so I was walking along,
it
a skink or
blue-tailed
something,
skink?
and it just, like a flash, ran under where my foot was
They
going,
are
and I
fast.
stepped on it.
Yeah.
And he lost his... I know, I couldn't help it. I felt so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She brought it home, and I couldn't
I
figure.
didn't mean to.
I couldn't keep it alive. I gave it mouth to mouth thrust. I said,
God.
And it wasn't until the fourth time she stomped it she passed away.
Well, exactly. Well, so let's move on. Another question. Excluding Jesus, what is your opinion of the best Messiah figure from literature, movies, music, books, poems, plays, society?
Oh, what a segue from spider snake.
Yeah,
Smooth.
I will read
So
it
smooth.
again so that if you're in the car listening to this, you can park. Excluding Jesus, what is your opinion of the best Messiah figure from literature, movies, music, books,
From
poems,
literature.
plays, and the like? Let's start with Mandy.
Okay, so I am going to take an obvious choice, but I will explain why also. So Neo from The Matrix. I watched the documentary last night, A Glitch in the Matrix, and it blows my absolute mind. And I was like, every time I woke up Dylan in the middle of the night, I was like,
I haven't watched the
Dylan!
documentary yet.
Oh, I was like, we are on a simulation. We are in a video game. And he's like, are you serious? And I was like, I'm sorry, but I have to talk about this.
Did you guys watch the Eight Sense, the Eight Senses, the Wachowski
No.
siblings TV show? It's freaking incredible, mind-blowing stuff.
What is it called?
Eight Sense.
No.
Oh, Sense8.
Eight Sense.
Sense8, the one where they're switching bodies?
Yes.
Sense8.
Oh my god.
Sense
it's so
8.
freaking Sense 8. Sense 8.
Yeah.
8 cents makes more sense.
Sense 8. It's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah,
Is
it
it?
was something I
Imaginations.
found, like, I was literally, like, looking for something to watch while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And this is one of those series where, like, I got to pay attention to what's on the screen here. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's outlandish. It's incredible. The imagination is incredible villain, and a lot of ridiculous sex, like crazy. I mean, crazy shit. Like even for we've seen a lot of stuff, you know, but this was like, woo, crazy stuff.
What was that again? Just
Jeremy wakes up.
Sense8.
Free with Playboy.
Sense8.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. And yes, Kathleen. Excluding
have been
Jesus, what is
movies.
your opinion?
No,
of the best
any literature,
Literature movies.
All right.
film.
I don't know. There is a figure in the books there's two figures. She wrote two series. Dorothy Dunnett wrote a bunch of books, and one of them has a figure as its hero, Lymond. Francis Crawford of Lymond is a younger son of a Scottish scion, and it's all set in the Elizabethan times and so on. And this guy gets beat up all the time. I mean, it is. But of course, he's brilliant and so on. So there's that. And then her hero from another series is even earlier than that, and it's a young Flemish guy who grows up basically as an indentured servant, but becomes one of the most powerful people in the world. And those are the ones I would take. But maybe, who is? I can't get this one out of my mind, but I can't remember his name. The explorer who goes with the hat and finds the tomb of
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Talk about snake thing.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Indiana Jones. How about that? How's that? For
Messiah.
I've never been big on religious stuff. So
Alena, what do you think? Excluding Jesus, what is your opinion of the best Messiah figure?
I'm not sure how much of a messiah this figure is, but it's the character of the idiot in Dostoevsky's The Idiot, who is sort of he is coming out of a mental institution and immediately going into life with people who are of upper crust in society, really bourgeois and well educated, and he's of the opinion that everyone is well intentioned because he's lived this incredibly sheltered life, and just continually is getting ripped off and taken advantage of. I like that guy. He seemed nice. Like, he just kept being nice. People kept giving him shit, and he kept being nice, which I feel like is sort of what a messiah figure is, right? Yeah.
Lewis.
Darth Vader.
Next question.
He brought order to the Force. Like, the Jedi had become completely, skewed in how they viewed the universe. They were if you can imagine such a thing, there was too much good. They had started the internal corruptions within themselves. So, in order for the universe to continue, we needed someone to save us. And that person was Darth Vader. He just happened to kill a shit ton of people.
I was gonna say,
like a
very
whole
loose
planet.
interpretation.
Didn't Hitler bring order to Germany at a troubled? Maybe I'm off base.
There's a little bit of a difference, but no, seriously, I would probably say there's three that I think of from movies when I hear this question. I think specifically of Harry Potter, the kid from the Maze Runner of all things, and Katniss from the Hunger Games. And I think of those three. Actually, Katniss Everdeen is to me the best prototype messianic savior of the masses of all of them. But I'm not going to say it, and I don't know that anybody else will. But I was surprised that we didn't hear Paul Atreides from Dune, since that movie's about to come out. So because that's the big Messiah story that's about to become.
Equally surprised that
didn't
come up yet.
Oh, gotcha.
Dylan, what think you about messiahs?
Okay, so like let's say in most Abrahamic religions that a Messiah is defined as a savior or a liberator of a group of people. Like let's just broadly interpret it as that. So mine would be the brave little toaster. And I don't know if you guys have seen the movie or not, but it's basically a movie about friendship and how each one of these characters is integral to the journey of life.
But the book was better.
There's a book. And it's all personified by kitchen appliances, essentially. And in
Isn't
the
everything-
end...
Really?
Really?
Isn't everything personified by kitchen appliances? You can take pretty much any.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I
like
mean,
a
think about
blender
the
would be
people
my
you work
life.
with.
And then...
Some are the refrigerator.
like
Lawyer, that makes sense.
right.
Some are microwaves.
And then like a lemon squeezer would be my mother-in-law. Like,
Some are just wastebaskets. Sorry. Go
All
ahead.
jokes
Did not
aside.
mean to interrupt.
anyway, in the end of the flick, which apparently there's a book about it if you can read, they're going through like a crusher at a junkyard, and the brave little toaster does not want his friends to go, so he sacrifices himself and jumps into the cogs of this machine that smashes things, and
As messiahs do.
as messiahs do, and he has perished. But his followers resurrected him not too long after and put him back together as a brave little toaster.
This sounds sacrilegious.
Man,
all of
he
a
was the
sudden.
toast
I'm
of
just
the
gonna
town.
Go ahead and say
Yeah.
it. Wow.
Then he jumped into a bathtub.
So I will say, like, I hadn't seen this movie, and
No.
we had to buy it, like, on Amazon and whatever, so we own a copy of this movie, and I was in tears. I was like, oh my god, and Larry is there, and look at the same friends. I was just bawling. I was like, it's a little slow. The illustration's not amazing, but the storyline is definitely, on par with all the other heroic tales that I've seen. I was bawling.
You start buying artisan bread for your
I was
toaster.
like, I'll never take it.
Sweet little toaster.
I bring it to a low voltage outlet.
What about you, Mr. Taylor?
Claudius.
Claudius.
That was a fantastic show, man.
He managed to keep himself alive through dealing with his father, grandfather, Caligula, a real person, Olivia. He's a real person, and he did a lot to. Rome was collapsing, and interesting guy. And of course, as far as the Romans were concerned, because he was the emperor, he was also a god.
I know what that's like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are a lot of them that you can look
Master of my
at
domain.
who was was it Toy Story? Who's the little cowboy in
Woody.
Woody. Or if you really want a messiah, there was the police officer in. God, I've forgotten the movie.
Police Academy?
No. Where there's an atomic war in the Australian
Mad Max?
Mad Max. That's right. That guy. If you think about it, the kids, are all waiting for him to come along, the pilot, and all that sort of thing. There are lots of these people in movies and books and 101 Overseas, Peter Pan.
I actually
Peter
thought
Pan.
the same thing, where most stories I was thinking about, like classic tales, there really is a character that has this arc of,
Yeah, that's what makes a
Yeah.
decent hero.
My favorite messiah is Brian from The Life of Brian. 1, 2, 3. Always look on the bright side of life. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Always. Unintentional messiahs are the only messiahs, I believe, because there's so many assholes with a beard and long hair who can play acoustic guitar, and they immediately have to become messiahs, And the first thing they do when they become messiahs is they have to sleep with every woman in their flock, Whereas guys like Brian, they're unintentional messiahs. they're followed by idiots, like Forrest Gump was followed when he was running
But there's a
across the
classic
country.
example, Forrest
Yeah.
Gump.
Another in this vein that is absolutely maybe the best was Peter Sellers's character in Being There, in the legendary movie
Yeah.
Being There that was Oscar nominated and so on. And you become a messiah without necessarily wanting to be a messiah. And it's usually very, very meaningful that people are following you.
But in that, was he actually supposed to be God?
And Being There? No, he was
it
just
was a political
dude.
satire,
Yeah, he
I
was.
think.
Yeah, I don't think he was supposed to. I think he was just repeating things he learned on television, and all these political leaders were taking them as very profound messages.
Trying to interpret the metaphors.
Yeah, which made him. Yeah, I do think it was just a commentary on how
Dumb we are.
All right, now we're coming up to sort of speed and what's happening in the news. Harry and Meghan have issued a statement on the Taliban resurgence, and the statement is being criticised. For the panel to think about, is the criticism valid? Let's go to Dylan first.
Jeremy, for those of us who stopped following the royal family after the English Civil War when they started losing power, could you tell me what exactly it is that they said that I'm supposed to be concerned about?
I will comment at the end of this.
Okay.
And I always thought the Kennedys was the American royal family, but
Yeah.
they issued a statement on the Taliban resurgence. Do you think that the statement that they issued is relevant?
Is relevant.
No. I don't think it's relevant at all. That's just what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm done.
And
I just don't think it is.
Mandy.
Honestly, I was having a problem with my ad blocker and I could not access it. So I, like Dylan, don't know what it said.
Following the royal family.
No, I honestly today I was like Googling.
Lewis.
Essentially, Harry said that the statement said that they are heartbroken about the resurgence, and that essentially, like, the nations need to band together
Not
and
Taliban though.
This is Facebook thoughts and prayers.
essentially. But the weird part is, like, the article attached talks about the British press, like, tearing this statement apart. Specifically, that the Americanisms that are being used in the statement are proof that Meghan wrote the statement and that Harry didn't.
Who writes the statements at your house?
I got nothing to say at my house.
Okay, same thing over here.
I'm
agree.
useless at my house. So
Yeah, but they're using software that was created here, and that is going to change all the spellings. Jeremy can never write anything English again. He just can't.
So I changed my Siri voice to be, I think, South African, and so now it changes. Yeah, it'll be like, take a left, and I'll be like, great, okay. But when I type in my text, it'll be like, no, that's spelled wrong. And I'm like, no, you think it's spelled wrong. It'll be like realized with an S, and I'll be like, no, I'm silly. So I get it. The software actually does play a role.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about you, Jeremy, when I'm looking at this question, because I'm curious to know if that does, in fact, minimize or invalidate the sentiment behind the statement if she wrote it.
Well, I have two opinions on two things. First of all,
Right.
with regard to the statement, she wouldn't issue a statement with regard to the military in Afghanistan without Harry being part of that statement.
Right.
And so that if they wrote that statement on an American computer, that is to say a computer that was bought in America, then it will be spelt in American.
Right.
So, for example, realize will have a Z in it, or a Z, as you would say, not an S.
Yeah, we don't know what a Z is.
And so,
Slow your roll.
So that is why it's spelt like that. And the British press should know that. And if they don't, they should shut their mouths. The second thing is, whilst I don't have a lot of time for some of the things they've done, be very clear about this. Prince Harry, is a decorated Afghanistan vet.
Which is why, specifically, I wanted to get your insight.
He has been in a gun pit, targeted specifically by the Taliban, not sitting in Kabul while everybody else is doing it. He's been out there on the front lines, and they pulled him out. The British government pulled him out because it became clear that the Taliban knew he was there. And, sorry?
No.
Right. So the British government pulled him out. He was incensed, and this, I think, was the beginning of his fight with
The royal
establishment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ma.
he also got taught how to fly helicopters, attack helicopters. You have to be fairly bright to fly one of those things. It's not just something everybody can do. and he managed to do that. And Evo, sometimes we talk, Evo and I, about national service and things like that. Mm-hmm. He did his national service. Yes. He has served in Afghanistan. Yeah, he served in Afghanistan. He's been there, seen it, and done it. And so I think that before anyone criticizes Harry for stuff to do with Afghanistan, they ought to ask themselves, have you ever been to Afghanistan? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in a gun pit with people firing at you? Because when people are firing at you trying to kill you, right, they're actually trying to kill you. It's a very scary situation. And he did it, and good for him.
No matter who he was, that gives him a right to have an opinion. If he wants to have an opinion, he can have an opinion.
And there are a lot of people who were in Iraq and Afghanistan, American soldiers, who are absolutely amazed at what the government has done. Having said that, how Biden deals with pulling the troops out of Afghanistan, he is in an absolute no. Trump started it. The other presidents didn't have the balls to do it, and Biden has done it. And I suspect that Biden will lose the next election because of it. But the point is that he's pulled the Americans out, and what we as Americans are interested first and foremost is Americans. I'm British, I know, but a president should be interested first and foremost. That's why they dropped the bombs on Japan, was to save a couple of 100,000 American lives that they knew they would lose if they attacked Japan. And so, every now and then, people have to do horrible things, in the greater good.
Jeremy,
Don't mock, because I've been there. Okay, so.
No, I'm saying, isn't it bullshit, though, to say that Americans only care about Americans? Why would we have sent anybody over there in the first place?
Do you really want to go there?
See, I was going to say the problem is the argument of going there a long time ago, and granted, people forget that we've been there for a really long time.
40 plus years.
I mean, the Cold War, this was, a proxy war, right? We were feeding them guns, but people forget that the rhetoric we used to get there in the first place was spread democracy. We care about everyone else.
No, it wasn't. No. It was nothing to do with that. Money. It was
exactly.
It was to do with the Taliban and going after bin Laden, who was the guy who had the gall to actually attack the mainland of America.
Yeah. Sure.
No.
But we were there before.
No.
Yeah, but the Russians were there before, and the Russians fucked it up. The Brits were there before the Russians, and the Brits fucked it up.
We all kind of did,
bullshit.
you know what I mean?
So we had special forces that had cornered Osama bin Laden. People like to forget this. We had him cornered in a cave in 2005. And Donald Rumsfeld specifically issued a statement to the special force, said, please do not kill bin Laden. Let him go. We don't want to capture him. We don't want to kill him. Why?
Buddies.
Because Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, there were billions, hundreds of trillions of dollars to be made. Don't let a good war, good crisis go to waste. Don't capture bin Laden. You need to stay away so more contractors can make money, so the big corporations can make ridiculous amount of money, and we kept it. Do you know, guys, you thought about that, the people that started serving in Afghanistan now have children that are serving in fucking Afghanistan.
It's crazy.
So are we about to commit to a third decade of being there? How many more years? 5, 10, 200 more years? It wasn't going to make a difference. So nobody wanted to get out of there of fear of losing the next elections. So we're going to stay there in perpetuity? Well, okay, I agree with Biden. I actually agreed with Trump.
I admire him for what he's doing.
Yeah, I actually agreed with Trump last year when he said by May, we're going to pull out everybody out of Afghanistan. And I couldn't believe it. I can't stand Trump. And I'm like, oh my God, I agree with that motherfucker. You know, get the Band-Aid, rip it out.
I think that sometimes, you know, a general has to make a decision. And I'm not going to do history lessons now, but one classic example was the general in charge of the Normandy landings called one of his senior generals in, had him flown back to the UK, and he fired him. Why did he fire him? He fired him because this guy loved his troops so much he wouldn't attack this particular city, because he knew he was going to lose about 1,000 men taking this city. I'm going to keep going. He would lose about 1,000 men taking this city. The general in charge knew that he would lose something like 1,000 men a month if he didn't. And that's what it's all about. It's all very easy, sitting and pontificating and laughing and everything else. But when you're responsible for people dying, and remember Biden lost his son, you know, who was again a serving officer, served in Afghanistan. You know, it's not fun. It's making these decisions is not fun. And presidents and prime ministers and the like sometimes have to make those decisions.
I'm amazed they did it. They tried to change the culture. They tried to change minds. You can't do that. It will take 1,000 years to do that. Yeah.
Well, gentrification, the same thing that's happening in our communities all over the United States, is you're just moving in and you're...
But the interesting thing is, when I was doing the radio show, we had Pakistani... we had two Pakistani friends. One who was the head of the equivalent of MSNBC in Pakistan, and his wife. His wife was the first female TV reporter ever in Pakistan. They used to set dogs on her when she was reporting and throw stones at her and the like, and she still continued doing it. But the guy said to me once, we were doing a thing and we brought in a bunch of people from the college up at Leavenworth, the Fort Leavenworth, and we were talking about it. Someone eventually said to him, so, okay, what do we do? He said, oh, that's easy. He said, you go to one of the villages, turn up at one of the villages and say, what do you need? And the village says, we need a school, or we need a something. So, okay, you're done. We'll build it for you. Because that's what the Taliban do. The Taliban provide. Okay, so they support the Taliban. If the Allies, let's call them that, not Americans or Brits or Russians or Chinese or anybody, if the Allies did what the Taliban did, then a lot of this stuff, and he was there. I mean, and these soldiers, senior soldiers, were just aghast.
I think it's probably not that easy. If we built something to aid them, the Taliban would then destroy it. Because they don't want anybody but themselves helping the communities.
And in that regard, they're very similar to our right, the far right in the United States, as sad as it is. But I notice a lot of glee on Fox News, a lot of happiness and joy about the Taliban taking over. And I was thinking, well, you are in many ways like them. You would love a monotheistic society. You would love women to have as little rights as possible. You know, you're militant in so many ways, and you are against democracy. So yeah, you are the American Taliban. It's no longer, wrong to say that. And I am fucking pissed at the royals. because they made a statement about Afghanistan yesterday. 2 hours later, they lose to the Cardinals 7-2. Fucking, you have a job, you fucking Royals.
Oh, God.
Okay, well, let's move on to, because that's a question that can, rile people up. Let's move on to a slightly easier one to do, and I'm going to start with Alena on this one. Have you ever received an insult that you are proud of?
Sorry, I have to interrupt for just a second because Dylan just told me, as a white male, he's never been skipped over, and he's not dealing with that. Yeah, he's not dealing with that.
But I don't have anything to say.
But she's a woman.
What would I have to say about the Taliban?
And it's the Taliban.
I don't have anything to say.
Well,
I am perturbed.
with respect, crew, the question was asked, and everybody was laughing, and I think it's not something that you were taking seriously. So I want to move on. Have you ever received an insult that you're proud of?
Yes, all of them. I earned them.
Oh, okay.
Alena.
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't feel like people I've had too many outward insults. It's more like backhanded compliments. And I'm normally like, I'll just take it as a compliment. I don't have anything I'm proud. Yeah, like one time I was in school, went to a school dance and this girl said, "It's really nice to see you try. You look so beautiful when you try." It's nice to see people who don't try, try. And I was like, that's nice, I guess. I'll take that.
You didn't feel you could only reach her once, and then she was on the ground.
I was just like, I guess you're trying too to compliment me. That's the most I get. Is like, I don't normally get a full on insult.
There was this one time when I was in law school that this gal called me a colossal asshole, and I felt proud of that because I'm better than most other assholes, and I pride myself on being good at what I do.
Yeah,
and that's
my ass. Believe it or not, me, Jeremy. My ass has been complimented on both sides of the Atlantic, which is a different thing. Yes, intercontinental.
Yeah.
So that's something. Yes. So okay, Mandy, you started, so now you can finish.
So I'm kind of oblivious most of the time walking through life. I've probably gotten a lot of insults, but didn't really realize they were insults. But there was one time, so I did debate in college and, doing my best. And I can remember a judge calling me aggressive. And what I think that judge meant was confident, assertive. And we actually had a whole conversation about gender framing. And I was like, if I was a dude, this would be a different thing. So even though it was technically an insult, I took it as a compliment. Even though I did lose the debate, I still look back and I'm like, no, I don't apologize for that. And it made me stronger because of it. And it's something I actually always had in my back pocket. And I'd be like, no, this is not aggressive, and here we go. And it made me a better debater, actually.
That's good.
Yeah. Kathleen.
Oh, probably. I think the one that springs to mind is one that was just totally inaccurate. When I was in high school and about to graduate, I was a member of. I had studied Russian in the Russian class there, and it was a small group of students in the Russian class. Most of them on the very top edge of the scholastic ladder, but complete nerds like me, right? Okay, and a couple of them not so bright, and they were kind of on the outs. They didn't like the rest of us. So at the last day of Russian class, and we had a meeting of Russian club, and so they came in and marched up to everybody and gave them a note, just these two girls, and then marched out again. I read the note, and it was full of insults for everybody in there. I mean, it was just nasty. And the thing they could think of about me, well, let me explain. I grew up tall and thin, but I blossomed in the bust area fairly early, okay? Yeah. And I have never gone backwards. And so at this stage, they said, "You flat-chested something or other." I was called flat-chested. I was wearing, at 16 years old, a C cup. Okay, there was, and I'm thinking,
Mandy is giving
what
approving
is the matter
looks
with these girls? They can't even.
It's not flat-chested.
No.
It's like you tall, athletic,
Oh, beautiful.
gorgeous.
Model.
Like, oh God,
was
you and
just-
your neckline.
Never forgotten that.
Oh, damn it.
You speak Russian?
Да.
Да, браво. He does.
Я говорю по-русски.
Очень хорошо.
Браво, очень хорошо, да. Я не понимаю русский язык.
I ate at Perubsky's
Yeah.
in Topeka. I don't know if you
We
guys
were
had that
working
before.
in Belfast once, and we were in a hotel, and and Kath was ready before me, so she goes down to breakfast. And there were a bunch of guys at big shipyards in Belfast, and there were some guys there, Russians, and they wanted her to go and have breakfast with them, and she didn't say anything. They were joking. It didn't occur to them that she knew what they were saying. And
That's funny.
She said they were saying, "Hey, lady, you come and have breakfast with us." And she turned around and in Russian said, "I don't think my husband would like that." I always thought it was rather nice. Lewis.
So when I was in my father was military, so we traveled around a lot. I had like nannies as like a kid. So when we got to my hometown, the place I was actually born, when we moved back there, East St. Louis, it's like probably at the time was like maybe 80% black. It's now like 99 and like 9/10% black. I was called white boy because of the way that I talked. Because like there wasn't a whole lot of slurred R's and just kind of like the that patois, which is not a part of who I was. Never ever once was bothered by that. Like it has always been something that made me concentrate on like developing a solid Midwestern accent. And in law school, like the artificial competition that they have in that law school generates is idiotic. Just there's absolutely no point. And so more than one person told me in law school, not in a positive way, like, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I'm like, I never want to be the smartest person in the room. If I'm the smartest person in the room, we all got problems. So
Kmart layaway.
yeah, no, for me, I actively search out people that I can like learn shit from, like all the time. So
Eva, have you ever received an insult that you're proud of?
Yeah, I mean, every time somebody online calls me a effing lib, I say thank you.
Yes.
I fucking hope so.
Well, we're going to go to our sponsors now, but I do want to finish this particular podcast with a quote. And let us see if you can guess who this quote is from. Let us see if you can guess.
Alexander Hamilton?
Alexander Hamilton. No,
No.
it's going to be Churchill every time, I'm sure.
A gentleman is a man who is only rude when he intends to be.
Churchill.
So our sponsors tonight, Mr. Bulgarian person.
Let's see. I got a last minute. Susan didn't have much time today, apparently.
Oh my God, 17 pages worth.
No, it's apparently it's not very smooth because, I mean, Susan told me she contacted a sponsor last second, so I don't know what it's going to be. Last week, let's see. Woo, that's good news. Because last week we were sponsored by some random idiot from 1917 that caused like permanent trauma to Fernando's children. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah. So, but this time, Susan.
Horrified.
Yeah, Susan really did. This is like a major corporate sponsor, maybe for the first time ever. So, and this is shocking. It's actually, believe it or not, it's IKEA. IKEA sponsoring us, and apparently it's an audio message again. It's this time by reel-to-reel magnetophone. So because the cassette player is broken. So I didn't even know, and apparently it's by IKEA itself. I didn't know IKEA can talk.
Mr.
The store can talk, and it knows English, which maybe it's in. I don't even know. So let's give it a try. Click.
And thank you very much for listening to my stories.
Hello. This is me, IKEA. I will be your sponsor today. Yeah. So happy to you be sponsoring Booba Dubu. Booba Dubu means little body in Swedish. Are you happy, yeah? I am not. But I pretend to be. We are never happy in Sweden. It is dark and cold and gloomy in Sweden. And that's just on the inside. Smiling and jokey joke are forbidden in Sweden. Even ABBA aren't happy.
Oh, no.
The dancing queen is actually a metaphor for the bubonic plague.
No.
We are only happy when people suffer. This is why we invented IKEA. IKEA, that is me. A table? Here's a tabletop and 4 legs, yeah? Wrong! A table has 746 parts, 2,000 particles, and 4,732 Grubenstuben bolts with 2 fasteners each. What is a Grubenstuben bolt, you might ask? I don't know. Nobody knows. Grubenstuben bolts. We love those little suckers. Furniture? We don't manufacture furniture. We manufacture torment. You know what we do for fun in Sweden? We watch Ingmar Bergman films and we laugh. He's our greatest stand-up comedian, yeah. Ingmar Bergman. We at IKEA love his musings on the devastated wastelands of the human condition.
Oh my God.
This is why the frame of your IKEA bed appears a little introverted. And your chairs are tortured and wobbly like the human soul.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You need a new bookshelf, yeah? Here, have this paper-thin flat cardboard box. Inside it, there's some random wood and the miracle of human imagination. Why make things simple? Why make things simple when you can make them more complicated than Kierkegaard? Yeah, we love Soren Kierkegaard. Are you unpacking a rocking chair or an existential angst? I don't know. It is for you to find out.
Oh my God.
The answer might be on page 473 of your manual. Like the great Albert Einstein once said. Fuck! Das ist scheiße! I hate this fucking IKEA desk! It's supposed to be an easy job, a square fucking desk. The energy I need to assemble it is probably equal to its mass times the fucking speed of light. Squared. Yeah, IKEA is great, yeah? Do you like riddles? Well, guess what? Our newest couch is also a 10,000-piece puzzle. But before you start assembling, fill out the enclosed application to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology School of Engineering. Then open the manual and contact the Navajo code breakers. Only they can read it. A lot of people ask, why are there always leftover parts when we assemble IKEA furniture? Why? There is a simple answer. It is by design so you can have more furniture amusement. You must completely disassemble it and assemble it again. Isn't that fun? People are always complaining in their Yelp reviews. People like to Yelp. Yelp, Yelp, Yelp. Some imbecilic Yelper complained that after assembling his dresser, it had 4 wooden penises sticking out. So fertility. That is why our dresser has a bouquet of pendulous Swedish penises. We call it the undresser. Another misguided Yelper complained that after putting together his coffee table, he ended up with 10 ottomans instead. Why do you complain, stupid Yelper? Why? You get 8 ottomans for the price of one puny table. Don't whine, enjoy your Ottoman Empire.
Sounds good.
Another Yelper said that he furnished his apartment. Another Yelper said that he furnished his apartment with IKEA, and the young lady he invited told him that it looks as if Willy Wonka had a catastrophic stroke and then designed an escape room.
Oh my god.
Hey Yelper, who doesn't like a clever escape room? And by the way, Willy Wonka is a titan of interior design.
Oh my god.
You need a girlfriend that appreciates stroked out Willy Wonka. Another wannabe clever Yelper said, not all deathbeds are made by IKEA, but all beds made by IKEA are deathbeds. Like Samuel Beckett once said, fuck! I hate this IKEA sofa. Nobody can put it together. Well, maybe that friend of mine, the great carpenter Godot, can do it. I will be waiting for him. By the way, our new birchwood china cabinet is revolutionary. You open the box and there's only a chainsaw. Yeah, that is correct. You have to find your own birch tree forest and cut your own lumber. Yeah, you go, lumberjack boy. Wednesday night undressed. What a great podcast. Your podcast is like one of my boxes of furniture. It is depressing, it never makes sense, and it is full of tools. Yeah, always more tools than actual content. And Conroy is closing. Oh, so sad. But don't despair. Actually, do despair. I love that. By the way, I'm buying Conroy's. It will be an IKEA store. Almost nothing will change. The crappy furniture is already here. I just have to commit to keeping it dirty. And now the kitchen will be cooking meatballs. And we will have a lot of elderberry dishes. We will have elderberry pie, elderberry soup, elderberry steak,
Gefilte fish.
elderberry sandwiches, even elderberry Ariel at the Boo panties. Yum! Everything will be elderberry. Elderberry, schmelderberry, everything we love is made of elderberry. Little jingy jingle I made. Conroy struggled to find employees. Not to worry, I will bring in a bunch of Skarsgård brothers. We have so many of those. Unlimited supply of Skarsgård brothers. Yeah. I will sponsor you, you disgusting podcast vermin. But first you have to visit our summer solstice festival in Sweden. Have you seen the romantic comedy film Midsummer?
No.
Oh, it is so much fun, so uplifting. Spoiler alert! All American visitors die excruciating festive death. Now that I think about it, we might be a bunch of blonde sociopaths in Sweden, but we do make elegant furniture to die for. Thank you, IKEA.
All that remains is for me, Jeremy Taylor, is to thank our naked team again tonight, to say thanks for listening, and remember, all of the 2020 and 21 podcasts can be found for download on the Ko-fi feed channel. Our team tonight, Dylan, Mandy, Ivo, Alena, Kath and Lewis. You've been listening to another Wednesday Night Undressed, produced tonight by Mr. Neil Rasmussen.